Thanks so much, Justin. It's time for Financial Focus. Analyst Steve Budin here to talk about a number of topics, including the 2020 budget. We talked about this today. It's a big number.
Yes.
And the president's asking for, what, $8.6 billion, I think, for funding the wall. And so everyone's going, we're going to have another shutdown.
Right.
Where do we stand?
And if I had to bet money, I would say yes at some point.
Okay.
But just to give some review, the president just proposes a budget. It's the Congress that actually spends the money. So the president basically just releases a blueprint of what her priorities are, and he submits it to Congress. Now, the fiscal year, the business year for the government starts October 1st. So we're still 7 or 8 months away. Now, there's no doubt in my mind, Congress will reject this budget. They'll propose one of their own. He'll reject theirs, and then we'll get down to September 30th, and we'll do a financial focus, and we will say there is a shutdown coming.
Okay.
So, especially with the presidential campaign just going into full swing. So I just want the viewers to know, especially with the campaign coming here in Nevada with all of the candidates, just because the president proposes a budget doesn't mean it's going to pass. This is just his idea. They'll shoot it down. No chance of it passing.
Of course. Okay. So we'll
that
cross that bridge when we come to it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but always a big deal as we start to see what's coming, you know, to kind of prepare for it. So, all right, well, let's talk rent. We've been talking about this, kind of been a hot topic here in town, how rent is going up. Some people are saying it's more expensive than a mortgage at this point here in Las Vegas. And you just recently saw a different study or some new numbers.
I was reading a report over the weekend that basically said Nevada is still a fairly relatively cheap place to live. Now, rule of thumb for most financial advisors, they'll tell folks you don't want to spend more than 30% of your income on housing.
Right.
With the average wage in Vegas, give or take about $45,000, that comes out to about $1,300 a month on rent. The average rent is around $1,000 to $1,100. So we're still fairly affordable, although not as affordable as we were a couple of years ago. And of course, you can compare it to New York City, San Francisco, which is off the charts. But most affordable would be some of the Midwestern cities. But we're still hanging out pretty good.
Yeah, and some people, and then it kind of flips sometimes. People say, well, it's cheaper to rent a house. I can get more, and it's not as expensive as a mortgage. So it kind of depends what financial situation you're in.
If we had more time, we can debate that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Boeing and Tesla. They've been really in the news a lot, especially in the last week and a half or so.
Good reminder for our viewers, if you're in your 401k plan or if you have an investment account, Boeing, Tesla, now I'm not saying the stocks themselves are good or bad, it's just a good lesson. You know, a Boeing, they could be a great company, but if one plane crashes, it could impact their stock price. Tesla seems to be all over the map. They're raising prices, lowering prices, they're opening stores, closing stores. Just a good reminder that no matter what company you may or may not like, when it comes to your 401k plan, investment account, never put all your eggs in one basket, because you just can't control some of these exogenous events that can happen outside of your control, and it could impact your investments without you even knowing it.
Right.
So it's always good to get some professional assistance too, but whether it's your investment account, invest in a few different things, so if one thing goes bad, it really won't hurt you that much.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks so much, Steve, for today's Financial Focus. I'll be back in a week. Stay with us.